Without further ado, let's get to Cenat. All hell broke loose yesterday. 9/11-2 is what people are saying. I mean, I'm joking, obviously. But, yeah, it was Cenat, who is a YouTuber, according to some of the news outlets that covered it, which I was happy with, but also a Twitch streamer, one of my peers, one of my coworkers, wanted to do a meet and greet at Union Square. And, of course, predictably, as things goes with influencer events in an uncontrolled environment, it turned into fucking bedlam. Covered it live. There were aspects of the coverage that I did not see until later, but I worked off of the official statements from the police. Ultimately, as far as I understand, approximately 2,000 people went to Union Square, a lot of teenagers, and they got rowdy. They got rowdy even before Kai showed up or got out of his van. He was not able to even go out into public for an extended period of time. I was worried about crowd crush potentially because it got really, really hectic. Let me see if there's a video that I can like show you because I think that will do it more justice. And of course, it ended with Cenat being apprehended by cops, being escorted by cops originally, and then being placed under police custody and only getting out later that night. The police seemingly want to throw the book at him. Obviously, there is a, the reception and the analysis that is a little bit different than what you would see in previous iterations of similar things. But let's take a look.
They just went up on right here, walking against.
I mean, it was hectic. It was crazy. It was chaotic.
They just went up on right here, walking against traffic, like raging.
From climbing on top of a subway station roof to spraying a fire extinguisher, a crowd of thousands turns destructive after a social media giveaway goes horribly wrong.
This event grew exponentially.
We heard some flash bombs going off. We saw firecrackers being set off.
Tonight, a sea of damage, debris, and a jarring reminder of the sheer power of social media.
We have encountered things like this before.
Why funny? I mean, it's funny because, like, the worst aspects of it are that people fucked up cars. I think there was a dude that, like, took control over, like, one of the trucks. But ultimately, regardless of what they are making it seem, as far as like riots goes, this is, how do I describe this without every fucking loser nerd eating my asshole? It could have been significantly worse. You know what I mean? People could have fucking died in the crowd crush. People could have been trampled. You know what I mean? Like, people could have actually died. So considering the worst possible outcomes that could have happened, this is basically nothing. You know what I mean? It is infinitely tame by comparison, and it is very similar to every other type of event that has happened. Every other type of event that's happened where an influencer goes to a public area and tries to set up a meet and greet. I think you're defending a friend too much, saying it could be worse. Copium. First of all, I'm not defending a friend. Cenat is not my friend. Okay, let's make something very clear. And also, I have been very critical of Kai in the past. I just want people to understand that. Like, he is my peer. He's a Twitch streamer. We are not friends. And not only that we're not friends, but we are simply colleagues. I know that everybody gets, like, really parasocial, but my statements on this are completely from my own personal analysis, what I think could have happened, and I'm glad did not happen. Part of the reason why I believe we're not friends is because I do have a tendency to criticize a lot of my peers when I feel like they've done something that is fucked up. When I look at a situation like this, I analyze it from the perspective of all of the other riots that have ensued in the past from influencers doing meet and greets and things of that nature. Sporting events that are celebrations, and how bad the outcome is for the general public in those situations. As far as a bunch of as far as a bunch of teenagers, rowdy-ass teenagers gathering, 2,000 of them in one location, it could have been infinitely worse, and it was a bad situation overall. But thankfully, it ended with very minimal damage, all things considered. Now, of course, the media is sensationalist as fuck, as we all know and recognize. So they're going to pump it as hard as they can to be like, Bedlam, all hell broke loose. People, you are a bum, just die. If that's your reaction, chatter, that just got banned immediately, okay, you really need to reconsider your life. Like if you're coming into a Twitch stream in general, no matter what I'm talking about, if you're coming into a Twitch stream and your immediate reaction is like, I hope you fucking die, like, dude, you're a seriously unhappy person. The way things started off was Kai announcing a meet and greet where he was going to give people PS5s, gift cards, and streaming equipment, or gift cards to purchase streaming equipment, okay, at Union Square. His assessment of the situation that it was that there would be 500 people. That's what he said, at least, leading up to the event, which would have still had the capacity to be like a chaotic environment. Never to this degree, though, right? And he absolutely should have prepared better. There's a reason why these kinds of situations are often conducted in a controlled environment. The example I can give you is Mr. Beast's Mall of America launch for Mr. Beast Burgers, right? There were thousands of people at that mall. It was a controlled environment. There was security. You know what I mean? It didn't turn into a fucking insane situation for that reason. This YouTuber
Twitch
has a good
streamer
video
Kai
on it.
Cenat
What is Kai Cenat doing? Yeah, I did do a YouTube video on this. It was uploaded 11 hours ago. He did not have any permits for it. He did not set anything up for it. He was just like, oh, I'll just show up. And of course, it got out of control and it turned into fucking bedlam. Okay?
But it never to this level of dangerousness where young people would not listen.
Good evening, I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. Tonight, the cleanup is underway after that mob of thousands of young people got out of control. People packed the streets in a dangerous scene. So concerning, subway trains had to bypass Union Square.
Tonight, 65 people are under arrest, including 30 juveniles.
This is hilarious. Ron DeSantis had to take on and I'm losing it.
NYPD says city property and private cars were damaged and several people are recovering from injuries tonight. The influencer who sparked the mayhem is now facing charges, including inciting a riot.
We have team coverage of what happened, how police responded, the role of social media in this mess. Let's begin with Alice Gaynor, live in Union Square, where the chaos unfolded.
Now, people fucking lose their shit on this because of, like, they're so geared towards, like BLM riots, burning cities to the fucking ground or whatever. So immediately they're like, what is Hasan going to say about this? I bet he's going to fucking justify it. No, of course. This is a ridiculous situation. I'm not saying this is a good situation. Although, as a Twitch streamer, the fact that another Twitch streamer is capable of, like, causing such chaos in a weird way, makes me feel like goddamn, like that's like an incredible amount of fucking power. Backtracking, Omega Law, yes. I assume we're gonna get a lot of idiots on the broadcast who did not watch me cover this for 4 fucking hours, where I repeated every single thing, or did not watch the condensed version where where you can watch the high notes. Where I will say the exact same things I said yesterday, and instead will come in here geared in a contentious manner instead of hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth because they saw a clip chimp and then someone manipulated the clip chimp to be like, Hasan believes this. He thinks it's fucking great. So now I know what your take is. I cannot, for the love of Christ and all things holy, ever be nuanced. It must be black and white. So no matter what kind of gathering you have, if you have 1,000 people, there's going to be some fucking crazy people in that situation. Okay? No matter what. That's of course what's going to happen. The fact that after all of this chaotic situation where police from 5 boroughs were called in, 1,000 fucking militarized cops were deployed onto the event, onto the area, and the maximum amount of damage that they put down, because they have to justify that level of police action at a certain point, and local news and police basically work hand in hand. on situations like this. The fact that they got 65 arrests, 30 juveniles, by the way, of which 30 were juveniles, like literally underage. And it was city property and private cars damaged, which is bad, of course. Not good. Several injuries and influencer taken into custody is an overall very good outcome in comparison to how bad things could have been. It's very similar, I would say, in many respects to other prior influencer organized events that have gotten completely out of control. Logan Paul, Nelk Boys, and the like come to mind immediately. The major difference, however, is that the media reception of it has been politicized in a different way. Not necessarily just that, like, oh, these are fans of a streamer that are getting unruly, but instead, this is now a political scenario. Now, of course, the reason why that is the case is because Cenat is black, and his audience and all of the fans that gathered there were predominantly black and brown. I didn't see a single clip including your worry about crowd crush and how dangerous the situation was when I was browsing the drama. Yeah, surprisingly, the many different things that I said about how worrisome this and how troublesome and how dangerous this event was throughout my 4 fucking hour coverage of it didn't make it to any of the top influencer leaderboards where they look at all the fucking clips. I wonder why. If you're that fucking brain broken where you literally think that I'm covering something for 4 hours and my only takeaway is, oh, this is awesome, I love this, and there's nothing wrong with this, and it's just fucking dancing, you are literally a baboon, okay? You are a donkey. You are a donkey-brained idiot if you think that that is all I said over the course of 4 fucking hours. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I hate how absolutely stupid people are. He's saying subreddits didn't post any of those clips you worried. Yeah, exactly. They didn't, because that's not a good narrative. The good narrative is Hassan will always allow additional allowances to black people and POC. He never makes it seem like POC can do anything wrong, because these guys are fucking losers. They're insane. They want to feed their own delusions, their fantasies about how the world works and how I'm analyzing or interpreting fucking situations. XU fell for the clip chimp too? Yeah, he didn't fall for the clip chimp. He saw a good parachute cord and he ripped it. Come on. Too many fucking rookie halls for one person to fall into until you realize maybe they're deliberately jumping into that so they can redirect the attention and anger that they've been experiencing over the past month for fucking DMCA drama back to a comfortable territory where everybody gets together online and says, you know what? Hassan is fucking stupid. Remember how anti-white racist he is and how he always defends black people unconditionally? He never sees their wrongs. It's like, I don't understand. Why do so many people mischaracterize your stance and try to villainize you too much? A couple different reasons. One, I'm a very popular left-wing content creator and live in a country where there's a lot of anger and animosity across the board when you utter the dirty word socialism in a positive manner. Number two, due to that and due to designated hate watchers and their delusional attempts, but they're very dedicated delusional attempts over the course of the past 4 years, there has been a very comfortable narrative to always fall back on. A comfortable narrative that gives you a feeling of positivity, a feeling of admiration from your peers when you say something that other people agree with, when you stand up and say something brave like, Hassan is bad. It's just, that's it. And also, and this is a very important part of it, if you are someone who is creating content over the course of 8 fucking hours, there are always going to be moments that someone can manipulate to feed their own narratives. It comes with the territory. There's not really much I can do. But of course, given that I am live for 8 hours, you could come in and find what my perspective is for yourself. But most people don't want to do that. Let's continue.
Inciting a riot.
We have team coverage of what happened, how police responded, and the role of social media in this mess. Let's begin with Alice Gaynor, live in Union Square, where they...
I think you were being extra careful pointing out how the media was covering it, considering the crowd was mostly black and brown, and it came out looking like you were minimizing and excusing their behavior when that wasn't the intention. There's a couple different things to say about that. One, when I'm talking about the media's reaction to a predominantly black and brown crowd, I'm very carefully and very deliberately comparing it to media's reaction to a predominantly white crowd, which is why I gave plenty of examples and plenty of comparisons and plenty of legal outcomes for content creators in the past that have had similar circumstances, whether it be Jake Paul, Logan Paul, or the Nelk Boys, right? Or sporting events, if you want to talk about that. That's my comparison, and that's the media coverage of it, and the narrative that is developed around it is always going to be different, because being black is political. Even if you yourself are apolitical, you fancy yourself to be an apolitical person. Anyway, regardless, that was my my angle of coverage. That does not mean that I excuse random fucking teenagers or even adults, beating the shit out of random people's cars on the street. That is obviously unacceptable. Or going up to a vendor and hitting them. You know what I mean? It's clearly this assault that is individually not only irresponsible, dangerous, but also completely unacceptable. That is absolutely separate from the media criticism of this, or rather, that's only individual actions when you're looking at a massive snapshot of a chaotic event overall. Here's the thing, though. Here's the props that I gave to the police as well, which you will not see in the fucking dumbass clip chimps. In the beginning, when there was a massive amount of wild crowds occurring, okay, they did a pretty decent job of not exacerbating the situation and making it significantly worse. When they, and I said this yesterday numerous fucking times, which again, you will never fucking see on drama farming idiot circles, or people who are maliciously looking for a different angle to be like, yeah, fuck this guy, he sucks. But what they did, and I said this yesterday as well, was good. When they originally dispersed the crowd and pushed them aside piece by piece and did not tear gas them or do anything too much that would have actually created crowd crush and actually would have created a stampede. Okay? That was good. That was a good thing that they did. Once that part was over, though, once the crowd had dispersed, once Kai was apprehended, taken to a precinct, they then started pushing people. This kind of shit is completely fucking unacceptable. These are the professionals. Again, $29 million a day is their budget. You can't behave like this. You're not a fucking animal. Okay? Cops are supposed to know better. By having a nuanced take, you somehow draw flack from both people who think you're hating on Kai and from people who think you're going easy on him. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm always going to still say what I mean and what I believe, regardless of what malicious clip chimpers are going to fucking do. I have done this for 4 years. I'm going to continue doing it. That's not going to change. It's very stupid. It could have been much, much worse. To cap it one more time, could have been much, much worse. There have been situations with sporting events. There have been situations with other influencers that have gone south. There have been events where it's more organized, and there have been significantly more casualties. Fucking Astroworld immediately comes to mind, and that's an organized event. So I'm glad that way more violence that could have occurred and way more death that could have potentially happened was avoided. It's a good thing. Partially due to what cops did. What they did afterwards is, regular cop business, beating the shit out of fucking teenagers, arresting them, behaving in an insane manner. Big part of the reason why it occurred, of course, is because of absolutely devastatingly negligent management. This is why I think you can't, if you're a streamer of especially Kai's size, you can't throw an event like this. You have to have proper protections in place, whether it be permits or on top of the permits, actual fucking protocols, barriers, shit like that. This is what's going to always happen.